the script got smaller and smaller and smaller until there's only one villain, and it's me.
Right.
I'm just like, sent it to Gary Barlow, and he was like, Rob, I come off worse than Darth Vader in the first Star Wars.
One of my Christmas wishes has come true. Robbie Williams is here. Hello, Robbie.
Hey, buddy. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. And thank you for choosing Boxing Day as well to come see us, the day where no one knows what to do on this day.
Well, no, I think Boxing Day is the day before the adrenaline dump. So tomorrow, in fact, is the what do we do with ourselves? And I was just thinking, there's somebody missing out on commercialising the hinterland between Boxing Day and New Year.
Is that what you call it, hinterland? I like that.
Well, no, I mean, I don't even know if
I call it the crimbo limbo. That's the one I use.
I do a lot of throwing a big word in where I'm not sure what it means. I do it a lot.
I was thinking, are you quite a Christmassy person? Do you really get into it?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely love it. And I didn't. There's the BMX years where you're like, oh my gosh, I've got a BMX, and that's amazing. And then there's the £20 in a card from your nan years.
You said, the BMX is probably the best gift you've ever been given. What's the best gift you've given somebody else, do you think?
The gift of being my betrothed for the whole of her life.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, and this year monogamous. Yeah.
Merry Christmas, my love.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Have you ever returned an item? You ever kept a receipt? Said to somebody, oh, do you know what, this is great, thank you so much. And, I'm going to return this in the morning. I've already got about 5 of these.
After that, I can't tell now.
Right.
But, oh my God, yeah. No, I've never returned anything, and there's also loads of stuff that you're like, bless, you receive it and you go, this is rubbish. But you can't get rid of it. So there it stays in your wardrobe for a year and a half, sometimes 3 years. And then eventually you go, I've just got to throw this away.
That's my technique, yes.
Yeah.
Store it away somewhere, 2 or 3 years, then you're allowed to.
There's a lot of basically people going, here, you throw this away with a gift. Do you know what I mean?
It's yours now.
Yeah, you throw this away.
Your burden.
Like one of those people that hand out leaflets and you're like, here, throw this away. And so it is with a lot of presents.
I love that, man. Well, there's another very special reason that you're here on Boxing Day. Your brand new film, Better Man, is out in the cinema. The true story of Robbie Williams. Are you nervous, Robbie, that we're going to get to know you a lot better now? It must be kind of terrifying to go, this is my life story, everyone.
Nah, no, I'm on the spectrum, right? Which everybody is these days. They just don't know it. And, and I have this ability, I'm going to call it, to overshare and not know that I've overshared. I don't pick up the cues where other people go, I shouldn't say this. I've said it and worse. Like, here's my hemorrhoids. Have a look at these. And then people go, we don't want to see hemorrhoids. And I'm like, why?
Too late.
Show me yours. So I am not scared.
You've mentioned who you are now. And I've also heard you say previously, at this stage of your life, you want to be as present as possible. You want to be in the moment. You don't want to dwell on the past. So what was it like having to go all the way back to the beginning?
It was worse for the documentary because, I had to look at there was 11,000 hours of my life. I've been followed with a camera since I was 16.
Wow.
And I never knew why. I never knew why I was being followed with this camera. It was just like, this is what pop stars do, I guess. And the reason was the documentary. That's what it turned out in the, 30 years in the future. That was a tough one because I had to watch the car crash. I had to watch me going through all of those moments and then talk about it. So that was triggering. This film, I don't know, there's lots of triggering stuff in it too. Basically, this is the film. 45 minutes of, I'm the Artful Dodger, but I'm stuck on trains, and then Train Spotting for an hour and 20. But serious,
Right.
Serious. It's, have you seen it? It's a journey. Did you cry? Oh, I mean, I'm in touch with my emotions.
I was going to say, I think it's great, yeah.
Yeah, but the 7th time,
Yeah, okay.
really?
Okay, you just as much cry as the first. You made it possible.
Yeah.
Was it difficult to not just include the good bits? Because essentially, if I was doing a story about myself, if I had control over it, it would be
Dev's amazing.
Ain't I great, right?
Yeah.
But was it quite difficult to be... I mean,
Well,
that's
mine's called Better Man. Dev's would be called Already. I'm a Better Man.
already
Bin
pretty
it.
swell, guys.
Bin it.
Well, it's like one of the problems I feel like with, say, social media is you're only really getting the success stories. You're not seeing the failure and the rejection along the way. It's like you have to include that in the story, right, for it to be complete.
Well, like I say, I don't know which bits to take out, or normal people, quote unquote, would go, ooh, better leave that out. But what is interesting about the making of the film is that many things, but we had to send the script to everybody that's depicted in it, and legally, the script got smaller and smaller and smaller until there's only one villain, and it's me.
Right.
I'm just like, I sent it to Gary Barlow, and he was like, Rob, I come off worse than Darth Vader in the first Star Wars. Okay, we'll make amends. We'll make amends to the script. But then it's like, well, hang on. I can't be the only villain in my life, but it turns out it's me.
Wow. As a fan from the outside, obviously this is just like felt from the outside, I feel like we've always been rooting for you. You're like the underdog. You're the rebel. You're the one who's like, you know what, I'm going to do things my own way. And I feel like part of that underdog status is you've managed to just keep reinventing yourself. You keep coming back better. And there'll be people listening to this right now. They'll be in that in-between bit where they're trying to leave something behind, trying to reinvent themselves, transition into this new life that they want for themselves. Did you get any good advice along the way when you were in that transitional period?
Here's a big word, autodidact. Do you know what that means?
I have no idea.
Okay,
I'm ready to learn.
self-taught. So I am learning, and I kind of understood that, our career or my career is pretty much like a roller coaster. And there was, the bit in a roller coaster where, you're getting the expectancy going up the thing. Well, that was Take That and the beginning of my solo career. And now I'm on the rest of the bit where it's like, I'm doing the loop-to-loop and I don't like it. I feel sick.
No hands.
Yeah, I feel sick. So I'm on this roller coaster where it's like peaks and troughs and peaks and troughs. And the interesting thing for me is like going to a dinner party these days and people going, so you just still do music? Yeah, I'm playing the stadium down the road. So, perception sort of shifts and goes off somewhere when you become middle-aged, and there's middle-aged priorities for people, and we sort of hibernate in these niche places for ourselves online and on streaming services. So unless you're omnipresent, like a Taylor Swift or a Harry Styles or a Ed Sheeran, which is where the baton's been passed on to, you've got to do these things to remind people that you exist, which is why you do books, which is why you do documentaries, and which is why you do films. I am still full of ambition and drive. And, I want to be the man.
You are the man, bro. You've been the man.
And I will be, and then I won't be,
Yeah.
and then and this is my lot for the rest of my life. So, which is why it's so important in my mind. This film, this facilitates the third act of my career.
Well, there is quite a huge part of this film we've not even mentioned yet, and that is the decision to have you played by a CGI chimpanzee, which at first, right, seems a little bit bonkers, but then you see the trailer and you go, no, actually, this kind of makes sense for this. How did you feel about it?
Oh, I loved it. And he identifies as a monkey. So the idea was muted to me by Michael Gracie, the director of The Great Showman, that's directing this film. And he was like, one day he came in and he said, what's your spirit animal? And like chin out, chest out, chin up, chest out. I was like, I am a lion. And he went, cocked his head and went, like, really, mate? And I went, monkey? And he went, yeah, okay, here's the idea. So, but here's another interesting thing about being eccentric or weird or unusual. I couldn't understand that people couldn't understand it when it was first muted and it came out. And in fact, Michael told me this idea and I'm just like, I'm in that one.
Yeah.
And then I went to see my wife, who's the Minister of Finance and the Minister of everything that happens in our life. And I was like, guess what, babe? I could be a monkey in a film. And she was like, what? And I'm like, oh, is this an unusual idea? I think it might be. But then she saw the film and she's like, she's blown away and she totally gets it. And, you know, from a certain perspective, it shouldn't work, but it absolutely does.
There's also something that I thought was a really beautiful reminder that it's like okay to dream. This idea that something that really stuck with me, that you're this kid from Stoke-on-Trent, you had a dream. And it's almost like if you're from a certain place, you're not supposed to want too much, that a lot of that's already been decided for you. But you did that.
It saddens me so much, and it's a British problem. And I think it's a hangover from the class system. And we're only one generation from, you know your place. On my grandma's school report, it said, "Will do well for the people over her." So she was just expected to be under somebody working for the man.
Wow.
Just expected. Now, that's the thing about us. There's so many great things about us. One thing that we don't do, which the Americans do so well, is be okay if you want to be successful. And I really want to be successful, and I want to achieve, and I want to get, and I want to be that. The journey is magical, and I wish I could impact, and I probably will, or impart this information. It's like, look, I'm not a good singer. I'm not a good dancer. I'm not the best looking. I've got 14 number one albums. If this chimp can do it, then you can too. You've just got to aim for it and then figure it out. You know, I wasn't born with a glam squad. My nan didn't have an indoor toilet until 1985.
Wow.
You know, she had a silver bath that she had a hook on the wall, and I remember having a bath, and she used to fill it from a tap and then boil the kettle twice. This sounds insane, right? But what I'm saying, it's like, I wish people knew their own magic. I wish people knew what they were capable of, and then want to go towards it.
You're firing me up, man. It's going to be a good 2025.
Yeah.
You've already touched on some of these incredible achievements. 14 UK number one singles, 14 UK number one albums, a record, by the way, that still hasn't been broken by a solo artist, 18 Brit Awards, that's more than any other artist, performed to over 375 people across 3 nights, 2003 at your Nebworth concerts. I know it's difficult to pick a favourite, but is there one you're particularly proud of?
They're all in my bag, and I'm glad it happened to me, and it's still surreal, and it's still shocking, and still kind of feels like the Matrix has bended towards me somehow.
Yeah.
Because like you've said all of those things, and I'm like, all of those things happened to me, didn't they? Wow. Here's the thing, right? And this is going to sound quite harsh. Everything's dead. It's all the future. It's all the future. It's all the next album. It's all the next project. It's all the, wanting bigger and better and nicer things to happen to me. And this time I get to experience it all with joy. I get to derive joy and happiness from it. And I was mentally ill for 2 decades. So when you say all of those things, I know I did them, and they're in my bag, and I can point to them and go, there's my Premier League medal, if you like. But to be honest with you, I wasn't happy.
Wow.
But now I am, which is like, I just want to swing by, have another bite of the apple, and experience it in the way that I thought I was going to experience it, but didn't.
I need to go lay down after this.
Yeah, Dev.
This is
I'm like Tony Robbins, aren't I?
Yeah, you really are.
Yeah.
This is incredible. Well, there is a question I like to ask all of my guests. It's where I like to maybe try and work out if I've done my job properly. It's called Please Stop Asking Me. So it's a question that you reckon you get asked quite a lot. You're not saying it's a good question or a bad question, just one you feel like at this point in your career, you've probably answered it quite a lot. One of my favourites was Simon Pegg, right?
Yeah.
Simon Pegg says, please stop asking him if there's going to be any sequels to any of his films. Every time he's at the supermarket, someone's like, when are we getting Hot Fuzz 2 or Shaun of the Dead, like Part 2, whatever. It ain't happening, right?
Yeah,
So, again, he's not saying it in a bad way, but
I've got it.
Do you have a please stop asking me?
Yeah, I do. And it's at the end of every interview. Yeah. Here it comes. So, and I will tell you the question, and then I will tell you how I answer it. It's, if you could go back and tell a 16-year-old Robbie anything, what wisdom would you impart on him? And my answer now is, if I could go back in time and tell 16-year-old Robbie anything, it would be that you're going to do 2,000 interviews where at the end of it, they're going to ask you what wisdom you would impart to you. My wisdom is, come up with a good answer for that question, because it'll do your head in. Serious.
Oh, I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
I actually have a present to give you. Do you mind?
Oh, wow.
You notice underneath the tree,
Do you want me to go get
there's
it?
there's one present left underneath the tree, Robbie. If you want to.
Something in a frame.
Yes. Oh, he's good. He's worked this one out already.
It's my prison mugshot.
That's next year, next Boxing Day.
Oh, wow.
So that is Thelma, right? Thelma is a female chimpanzee born on the 25th of September, along with her twin sister. We've adopted Thelma.
Thelma is a cherished member of the Hananayas group.
That's the one really rolls off the tongue. It's in Dorset.
Protective of her. She's very spoiled. I instantly love her. I love you, Thelma.
Well, yeah, we've adopted her on your behalf.
Foster dad.
Yeah, we just need to get your sort code and account details so we can keep up payments, Robbie.
Okay. Keep up with the payments.
Yeah. But there you are. Merry Christmas, Robbie.
Thank you very much.
You seem quite captivated by Thelma.
No, I'm
Yeah.
genuinely am. Who wouldn't be?
Yeah. This is a good looking chimp.
Yeah. I mean, not like that.
Robbie, this has been incredible. I'm not just saying this, genuinely my favourite interview I've done this year. Thank you so much for being
bless
so
you, mate.
open, so honest about. It's why we love you, because we know that we're just going to get the realness. So thank you so much for seeing
bless
us,
you,
Robbie.
Dev.
Thank you.
An absolute pleasure. And just wishing everybody the best 2025, mate. Be the best one you've ever had. Go out, pick a dream, and then go towards it. Oof. Boom.
Words to live by. Thank you so much, Robbie. Thank you.
That's very sweet.
This